on Instagram.
I did. I put the key in already, but okay, I activate.
Yeah, but now on Instagram, you go and you click the go live, and we will go live.
Okay.
Here we go.
I said public. Are you sure? Let me just see.
Yep, we are live.
Instagram,
In mine, I
live, yeah?
see. Yes.
So I'm live
Yes, we are live.
on Instagram. I can't see. Wait 1 second.
On everything.
Nice.
The world is watching you.
Cool. Let's go.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In today's episode, I have a very, very special two guests that I've been wanting to talk. We're going to give you an update live about what is happening inside Iran, the things that you will not be hearing. My guests today are an Iranian activist born in Iran, if I'm not mistaken, raised in the UK. He has been politically active about everything that is happening with Iran for a very, very long time. And the one next to him is a former Mossad agent who has been specializing in the entire Iranian case, knows that culture inside and out. And we're going to have a very, very special conversation today, trying to give you the best update about what is happening. Iran has been going on, if I'm not mistaken, on the 9th day already, if not even the 10th. 9th, correct, Younes?
Yes.
We are on the 9th day of a very unique uprising that I call it the silent revolution. No one is almost talking about it, not enough, at least. And we're witnessing something that might happen once in a lifetime. And I have these two experts here to come and talk about it. So, Sagiv and Younes, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here, both of you. Let's start with our guest here, Mr. Sagiv. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, about your career, and what made you care about what's happening in Iran?
I think that, first of all, آقای یونس ما میتونیم فارسی حرف بزنیم بین ما.
آره شما فارسی بلدی من نمیدونستم فارسی شما بلدی.
Of course.
You're a true Mossad agent. You're a true Mossad agent.
Whenever we want to, I don't know, to code something or to speak with it, between us that Mansour will not understand, we can coordinate. So that will be,
yeah. I have the walkie-talkie of my kid here. I'm just warning you.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to be here. First of all, very proud to be here with you guys, with you, Younes. I just finished a long service of almost 16 years, and I'm thinking that we are in a crucial moment in history that all of us need to do everything that we can do to help to our Iranian brothers and sisters in Iran to get out of this awful regime. That's the case. That's the most important thing. We can talk about my career and that also, but maybe in some other opportunity. Now, let's focus on it's really important. That's the Iranian people and how we can help them.
Exactly.
That is true. And Younes, maybe you just give a few words to the people back home. Who are you? What's your background? And what are you doing nowadays?
So I'm a political analyst. I studied politics and international relations in university. I have a background. I've worked in many different types of jobs, which I'm not going to get into. But in the last 2 or 3 years, I started making political videos because I have a bit of a media background. And basically, some of my video went viral. And, I think you was one of the first people that actually followed me like 2 years ago after that I made that video about Sharia in London. And my journey has been, because I studied politics and at London School of Economics and, I have a master's degree and I also have a media background. So I was like, why don't I join the two together? But in the last 2 years, I ended up doing many different kinds of jobs, working with different types of political parties, with intelligence groups, trying to gather information, trying to put media, try to message, try to work in communication strategy. So that's what I do. I've been doing this full time now for the last, especially 3 months, but for the last 2 years, I've been doing it very, and luckily, I think after 2 years, my fruits have bared. I was recently in Israel 3 times in a row in 6 weeks. I was there with Catherine Shakdam. If you know who Catherine Shakdam is, she was the one that gave a lot of intelligence regarding the Ayatollahs in Iran. I was there with the foreign ministry. So I think what I do now is like a mixture of intelligence and media. So that's what I do.
Wow, impressive, impressive. So I want to go to Sagiv for a second, and then also to Younes, and both of you can just jump in. I hope for this to be a relaxed conversation between three friends, three adults here, trying to understand what is happening in Iran. Now, Sagiv, I spoke to you yesterday on the phone, and you said something that went with me. You said that we are seeing signs now that make this uprising in Iran different than the ones we've seen before. So what is different and where did it catch you? Like what made you suddenly realize, oh, I saw something now and that is different?
As I see that, this time could be the worst nightmare of the Iranian regime. And why is that? Because I think for a very long time, or maybe in the first time, we see a combination of uprising and opposing that coming from the economy side of the population, and combined with what the regime is calling to the political against the political regime. So those two things together, this is something very unique. And what we see this time is not just young protesters, is not those that usually go to protest. We see the Grand Bazaar, we see the union workers, we see, for example, the truck unions and the taxi drivers and the people that usually were part of the regime in a way, and they got to a situation that they are saying enough is enough, and they are getting outside. So those two forces coming together against the regime, this is something that we didn't see until now.
What do you think is making it happen? Well, how come all of a sudden we're having the bazaar, the truck drivers, the unions? I even heard today that there was a video that was shared where the one police station even decided to join the demonstrators and go against the government. This is big, like a whole police station.
I hope that we will see more and more from that. But I remember times that we were analyzing the situation and we thought that, when the real will get to 800, maybe 850, we will see everything collapsing. Well, that's not happened. And we are very close to 1.5 million, right, Younes? It's almost 1.5 million. And I think that's the time that the Iranian people cannot take it anymore. I think that's the case. And if you bring everything with that, there is no hope. There is no future. There is nothing. And at the same time, you see the money go to Hezbollah, you see the money go to Gaza, and the Iranian regime cannot even support with $5 or $7 to the average Iranian. And the average salary of a Hezbollah fighter is more than $800 or $1,000. So we know where the money is going to, and the Iranian people understand that also. There is money. They can do things. That their priority is different from what it's supposed to be in any other normal country.
Wow, that's crazy. So the Mossad was able to actually see the transactions of the money and knowing that, hey, they're paying a Hezbollah soldier on the paycheck of Iran $800. Meanwhile, their own people are getting $7 or something like that. That is insane. Younes, where did that hit you? What made you realize that this uprising is different than the ones before?
So I think there's a variety of few different factors here. Look, there has been uprisings in Iran for the last 47 years, but the uprising have been getting more and more congested. We used to have like an uprising every 5 years, then it was every 2 years, then it was every year. So I think after the 12-day war, Israel and America exposed how incompetent the Islamic Republic is. They are a paper tiger. So they used to huff and puff and say, oh, we're going to destroy Israel, we're going to do this and that. But during the 12-day war, Israel and Mossad and the IDF exposed the Islamic Republic and how incompetent they are. It was like a huge slap in the face in the whole world, in front of the whole world, to the Islamic Republic. So I think after that, it exposed it to two things. It exposed to the Iranian people that the Islamic Republic is not as powerful as they claim they are. All they can do is to kill their own people. and their own women. And he also exposed to the international community how incompetent they are. And I think a combination of these two factors has given a lot of confidence to Iranian people to rise up. I think what happened during the 12-day war, the reason why people didn't rise up is because they were in a state of shock. They didn't know what was going to happen. But I think in the last 6 or 7 months, America, Israel, and also the Iranian people had a chance to recoup. What I'm trying to tell Iranian people is that, look, Israel and America are not your friend, are not your enemy. Our enemy is the Islamic Republic. And America and Israel are here to help us. And I think also another factor is that the economic collapse of the rial, I think by the latest information I have, is like $1 is almost close to 200,000 riyals, which is insane. You know, back in the day, it used to be seven riyals for $1. Now it's 200,000 riyals.
200,000.
Yes, 200,000.
How do you even get to that low?
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, 20,000, 20,000x, 30,000x. So it's insane. So I think these are the economic, and also now Donald Trump. And look, the thing is, I don't think Donald Trump wanted to ever make a deal with the Islamic Republic, because the deal that he, sort of offered to the Islamic Republic would have, collapsed the Islamic Republic as is, because he told them no nuclear, no ballistic missiles, also reformations from inside, something that Khamenei would obviously say no to. But I think that was just like some kind of a bluff and a strategic ploy by Donald Trump. And he wanted to tell his base to say, look, I tried to make a deal with them. They're the ones that rejected it, so I have no choice but to attack them. And I think this whole tweet that he sent about, him being locked and loaded, or America being locked and loaded, I think Iranians inside Iran, they're more confident than they've ever been, because they never had a US president come and back them like that on social media, a tweet. So they're very confident, and they know that the Islamic Republic is weak, because, as I said, they expose themselves. So all of these factors, the economic collapse, the weakening of the Islamic Republic, the support of Israelis and the Americans, I think after 47 years, all of this is coming together. And we have a great prime minister, which is Netanyahu, and we have a great president, which is Donald Trump. So we needed all of these factors to come together for us to reach this point.
I love it that you're saying we have, as an Iranian. Sorry, Sagiv, you're saying something.
No, I would like to add to that something. In the 12 days war, it's true that we didn't see any response from the Iranian people, and a lot of people also in Israel were asking themselves why it's not happening, why they are not going outside. And it's true that it was like a shock. I think this is the first time since the Iran-Iraq war that actually people inside Iran heard the sirens and felt the war and basically were surviving. Maybe not everybody were understanding that Israel is targeting the Islamic Republic, targeting the regime, and absolutely not the people of Iran. But slowly everybody understood that. But one thing was lacking in these 12 days, and by the way, it was lacking also in 2 years and a half in Mahsa Amini, in the hijab riots and protesters. But this is an international support, and it was also in 2009. It was not exist, not by Obama, not by Biden, and also not absolutely in a way that we wanted to see that I wanted to see that in the 12 days war. Because if you remember, President Trump, that since then did and doing an incredible job, in a way, he said something that America is not going to act to change the regime, and this was something that immediately we saw that when he said that, it's in a way it was not giving the Iranian people the back and the hope that they needed. And this is the key factor. This is the X factor that now we can see that. 2 weeks ago, Netanyahu flew to America, to Mar-a-Lago, met with President Trump. Everybody spoke about Gaza, about Lebanon, about a second stage in Gaza. But the only thing that was really on the table over there is the Iranian regime. And I think that Netanyahu brought the president to an understanding that nothing in the Middle East, nothing from his vision to a new Middle East with Saudi Arabia, with Egypt, with Turkey, with Gaza, with Lebanon, Syria, etc., nothing of that will not happen if the Iranian regime will stay, because we can win a lot of fights, but if they are still there, nothing will come to a successful situation. And I said before of this trip, if we will hear suddenly statements from the President Trump regarding the regime, we will understand that Netanyahu was successful in his mission. And guess what? Few days after, we saw the first tweet, and now we are hearing more and more. I think that there is an understanding that this is what needs to be done. And those two leaders decided that they are, first of all, going to support the people of Iran. And this is the only thing, more than everything, the Iranian people need is help and support and hope from the international community, to hear that everybody is supporting them, to hear that day and night, 24/7, that we are with you. This is what we need, and that was lacking for so many years.
Wow, yeah. When I heard that, I was also a bit surprised. And how did you feel when you read the tweet from Donald Trump when he said that we are locked and loaded? If this regime starts killing its own people like they usually tend to do, United States is locked and loaded. And we know about Trump that when he says things, he means it. He's a president that actually does what he says. So, Sagiv, how did you feel when you heard that words?
For me, I was finally, thanks God. That's what I felt. And the next step was, for me, okay, we need more than that. We need actually to see the steps that will support that. We need a lot of international leaders to deliver the same message. We need civil society, we need NGOs, we need people to people, Israelis, others, everybody to do everything that they can to deliver this message to the Iranian people. Because the Iranian people, they will do the job, they will take down the regime, not anyone else. The only thing that they need is hope. And this is our job right now to deliver this hope. Tell me if you agree, Younes.
No, 100%. Look, at the end of the day, I think a lot of Iranians have lost hope because, as I said, we had a lot of protests for the many, many, many years. Even some of my friends here, I was saying, look, this time is different. They're like, yeah, just wait 2 weeks. It's going to die down again. Because that's exactly what happened. We used to have protests for 2 or 3 weeks. They used to come in, kill everyone. People used to get scared, go back in. And we didn't have anything for 1 or 2 years. And then something else used to happen. But, this time is different because, look, one time it was about women life freedom. Another time it was about petrol prices. Another time it was about the green movement. But this time is not about any of those issues. This time is about we want the Islamic Republic of Iran gone. Okay, that's what it's about. That's why they're screaming Javid Shah, because that's what they want. They want the Islamic Republic of Iran gone. And they have so much hope now, as Sagiv said, because now we have American president after 47 years directly coming and saying, we are locked and loaded, meaning we will back you. If they kill you, we will back you. And look, up to this point, 30 people have died. More than 30 people have died. 1,500 people have been arrested. There was a hospital that was attacked recently. So I think, look, if you're going to attack, then the time is now, because they have been killing people. They're much more passive this time. But also, what is happening, the protests are not dying down. Every single day, there's more and more people coming out in different cities. And I think it hasn't peaked yet. It hasn't peaked yet. So I think we need some intervention. We need some sort of intervention by Americans and the Israelis. Pretty much right now.
Is any of you seeing a sign right now that makes you think, okay, I think that the regime is more nervous than before? Like, are they showing any signs that you can say?
100%. 100%. Even there was this
Both of you giggled. I want to hear that.
Yeah, Khamenei said he's going to probably escape to Russia, or he's planning to escape to Russia just in case. So, look, the protests in Iran, look, we've been building up to this point, right? And I think Iranians are actually one of the biggest supporters of Israelis. And I think during the 12-day war, what happened is that even though 80 to 90% of Iranians are against the Islamic Republic, there was still some percentage, like a minority still, but there was still some percentage of people that distrusted Israel, because they probably been brainwashed by this idea that, oh, they committed genocide, this and that. And what I was trying to do with my page, to go to Israel, to show to Iranians, like, look, Israel is not a genocidal state. The enemy is the Islamic Republic. And I think that message has resonated with people. Also, they're sick and tired of the fact that they can't afford food. They're hungry. That and look, they don't have water, they don't have electricity, they don't have gas. So people are thinking to themselves, look, we're going to die anyway. If things continue as they are, we will probably die. We might as well go out there and take a chance and take our country back. And now we have, Israelis and the Americans backing us. What do we have to lose? There's nothing to lose for Iranians inside Iran.
Wow.
We see a huge effort from Iranian regime leaders trying to separate between the political protesters and the so-called the economical situation or the crisis. And you ask about if we see signs that the regime is nervous, and that's exactly that. We heard in one day, we heard the Pezeshkian, the president, we heard Khalibaf speaking about that, and we heard the Rahbar, the supreme leader himself. Everybody is delivering the same message. We need to hear and to speak and to take responsibility about the economical crisis, but we need to separate that from the political situation as they see it. This is the biggest proof for that this is their biggest nightmare of those two things coming together. But I think this is too little, too late, and we need to make sure that what we see over there, in a way, it's not that Israel need to do, as I see that, it's not that Israel need to do something. It's not that America need to do something. It's the Iranian people are taking their own destiny in their own hands, and they do that. They will not accept someone else to do the job for them. And I'm not saying that we need to stand aside. Absolutely not. I'm saying exactly the opposite. But this is, and the Iranian need to lead that, and they are leading that, and we need to support and bring hope. And if the regime will they're already doing that, Younes, as you said, but I don't know if you will agree with me that in different situations, different days, the same amount of demonstrations, we were seeing those days not 35 people dead and wounded. We will see maybe 200 already, but they are doing everything that they can not to go there, because they know that everything is very, very close to fall down, to break.
Exactly, because I think in one day they killed 1,200 people, if I'm not mistaken. In one day, 1,200 people. So they find themselves in a position where they're extremely tame. They're extremely tame. They don't want to kill, but then they kind of have to kill if they want to survive. So they're in like a catch-22. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Yeah. And I think Iranians have been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time, because the Islamic Republic used to bully their own civilians. But now we have Israel and America that is behind Iranian people and against the Islamic Republic. And I think that just gives Iranians so much courage, But that's what I mean. Like, Israel and America needs to act on their promise. They need to act on their promise, because if the protests go on for 2 weeks to a month, nothing happens, eventually Islamic Republic will start recouping. So I think we need to strike fast and quick and decisively.
I can't agree more. Sagiv, I want to ask you something. As someone who spent years in the Mossad, when you saw the 12-day war, and especially the beginning of that war and the results that we had, were you surprised? Were you like, wow? Or you kind of knew that this is going to be the outcome?
No, actually, I can't say that I was surprised. Nothing. The only thing that I was not surprised, but I will say I expected to more, and I think that all of us is to see the people in Iran reacting to something like that, and it didn't happen. I understand, of course, why, and sometimes need to some things take time, and this is what we see now. In a way, this is the outcome of what started a few months ago. But definitely not surprised. I heard the supreme leader of Iran right now saying that Israel was begging for a ceasefire after the 12 days war, and that of course, everybody understand and know that this is exactly the opposite. And as you said, Iran, I think everybody saw the true face of Iran worldwide as a paper tiger, and all the threat and all the things and everything that they saw, they said all over the years were proven wrong. But more important is not what we saw. I think it's important what the people inside Iran saw, because I think 2 generations inside Iran were living under the, I don't know if they believe on the understanding that no one can harm them, that they have some kind of supreme protection, and that was proven as a lie. They see that now that they are not there, that exactly the opposite is the reality.
No, that's completely the opposite. Did you? I might ask it differently. Actually, what made you care about the Iranian people? Now, I understand. If you're an Israeli, if you're in the Mossad, obviously Iran is one of the arch enemies of Israel. They want to literally nuke us. They want to destroy us. So that's obviously, we would want a regime like that to fall. But I'm hearing from you and from many Israelis in the service and outside that they not only are against that regime, they actually care for the people of Iran. So what makes you, for example, care for people that are from a faraway land, not necessarily even close to us, and in enemy country?
So I think that everybody understands that, of course, in Israel, that the Iranian people, of course, are not our enemy. Exactly the opposite. Okay, they are our brothers and sisters. And what I learned, that our enemy is the regime, is the Islamic Republic. That's something that every Israeli is understanding that. And what I learned during the years, during my service, that I don't know any other country, any other nation that is more similar to Israel than the Iranian people. I can go with you, jokes, culture, everything. This is so similar. I've been in a place one time, and I can tell you in Georgia, in Tbilisi, went to a bar, was a group of Israelis, group of Iranian. You cannot define or say who is who. So the Iranian people, especially the young generation, are our brothers and sisters. They are very close to us. We are sharing the same values. We are sharing. If we go back to the history, not the history of 50 or 60 or 70 years ago. If we go 2,000 years ago, and even more than that, those are two ancient nations that brought a lot of light and good to the world. You can't look on Iran of those days. This is the last 50 years. This is nothing if you compare it to the history of this great nation, of these great people, and with their great culture and their good things that they brought to the world. This is who's the Iranian are, and the Israelis understand that, and the Israelis are willing to do everything that they can to bring those two great nations together to a place of bringing light and good to the world. And it will happen. It will happen very, very soon.
Hopefully, man.
And I can add to that even that personally, I'm not coming from Farsi or Iranian background, but I married and my wife is Iranian.
Really?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And that's another
Is she
reason.
Jewish Iranian or Iranian? Like
Yeah, she's Jewish Iranian.
She's Jewish Iranian. Yeah, there's 250,000 Jewish Iranians apparently.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
100,000 of them left Iran to go to Israel after the Islamic Republic. Yeah,
I'm gonna make a joke that we used to have in Israel about the Iranians, the Parsis. Is she financially responsible? Your wife? I'm gonna say it that way.
Yes, she is. Younes can tell you. Iranian women. That's it's everything around that. Strong ladies, strong women.
Yeah. No, they are for sure. Depends, actually. Depends. But I think I was in Israel 3 times as well. I think the girls in Israel are quite good too. So I always make this joke that I might end up getting a Jewish wife or an Israeli wife. Because also what's funny, when Cyrus the Great conquered Israel, I think Xerxes that was actually married to Esther, and I think he actually brought a lot
Hashverosh.
of the
Yeah.
Israelis and the Jews back to Persia and I think our bond goes back many, many years. So I think, 3,500 years, if I'm not wrong. So I think that way, culturally, we share a lot because we kind of evolved together, even before
Mhm.
Islam, even before the Arab conquest and all of that. So I think, yeah, historically, even because that I felt the same thing, honestly, because I went to Israel, I never felt out of place. I think people treated me very nice. I went to a lot of parties, met a lot of people, professionally also met a lot of people, and it was just a great time. And I think you guys think the same as us. We have the same kind of sense of humor. We like to have fun. And yeah, it's just a shame what happened in the last 47 years because, the Islamic Republic is not Persian, it's not Iranian. They're like Shia Muslims caliphate that somehow managed to take over a country. And I always make this parallel. You know what Islamic Republic is? If Hamas was able to take over Israel, that's exactly what happened to Iran in 1979. We had a group similar to Hamas come and take over control in Iran. And that's why we have. So I think that's why I always say if Israel falls, the whole Middle East and by extension, the whole West falls. So it's very important to protect Israel.
Did you feel at any moment afraid or worried being in Israel?
Not at all. Not at all. I actually had a great. I used to tell people, I was like, look, I'm Iranian, I'm not Jewish, just to see their reaction.
And
And they used to love it. They were like, man, that's so crazy that, you're Iranian, you support Israel. We love people like you, So, yeah, I think most Iranians support Israel. Most Iranians love Israel. And I think Iranians and Israelis, they're in this situation in the Middle East, both of which they don't think like they belong. Because our
I think
culture is not
Israel,
it's
yeah,
not really Arab. We Persians have their own culture, Israelis and Jews have their own culture, and we kind of feel out of place in the region. So I think it's very important that we strengthen this friendship because otherwise,
yeah,
if we're isolated, then we could collapse. But if we manage to, we call it the Cyrus Accords. They call it the Abraham Accords now. I think the Cyrus Accords is
the Cyrus Accord. I like that. Yeah, I
yeah,
think Israel is one of the only places in the Middle East that you can actually come in the street in Israel and tell them that you are from an enemy country, and the people would actually like you for that. And like, wow, you're here, and would want to listen. I mean, if I will go to Syria right now and I will say I'm from Israel, I will not make it out alive. Same thing in Lebanon. In Jordan, I had to hide my identity many, many times. In Egypt, also. In Europe, often I need to hide my identity when I'm speaking to Arabs or to Muslims. But in Israel, you can be literally from Iran, you can be from Tehran, you can come from who knows what, and they will actually say, "Oh, wow!" And they will sit with you for a coffee, sit with you for a beer, will talk to you, argue with you if needed, but they will not go and really, attack you or try to lynch you like they're trying to lie. Um,
yeah.
how does a revolution actually win or lose in your eyes? What do we need to see right now, aside from the people running in the streets and the demonstrations? What do we really need to see right now that we start understanding they are winning or they are losing?
In my opinion, or in Sagiv
Both,
opinion.
anyone, just free question.
Do you want to
بفهمك
go? خیلی بچشم. Look, I think a successful revolution, I'm going to go with what could go right and what could go wrong. So what could go right is that hopefully the protest will gather momentum and they will continue for the foreseeable future. We will have an official press conference by Donald Trump calling out the Islamic Republic, because look at what a tweet's done. Imagine he holds a whole press conference. I would also like the leader of the opposition, which is Shah Reza Pahlavi, to go and meet with Trump. I think that will be good. I'm not so sure about what Donald Trump thinks of him, but at the moment, people are screaming his name, and I think he should be the head of the transitional government. Hopefully, we have Trump, honoring his words with the help of Israelis, taking out IRGC members, hopefully Khamenei, hopefully other people like Mojtaba and the whole crew that is close to Khamenei, so strategic targeting of IRGC members, ballistic missiles, even if there is any nuclear left. So we need that combined with, internal uprising. And then we need a smooth transition. So we need a opposition government or a transitional government led by Shah Reza Pahlavi to come and take control, and 100 other people. But we need the support of Americans and Israelis to be able to come and install this government. he can't get on the plane and go there and take control, because there is still a lot of people in Iran. Iran's going to be in transition for the next 2 or 3 years. So people that think, oh yeah, it's going to be easy, yeah, because the Shah just left back in 1979. He didn't stand and fight, right? So now, because of what's happening in Iran's going to be in transition for the next 2 or 3 years. So we shouldn't expect anything overnight, but the revolution can happen very soon, right? So I think what needs to happen is a combination of these three factors: strong opposition, internal uprising, and strategic targeting of IRGC members, military, and nuclear.
And Sagiv?
So I absolutely agree, and I will add to that that the X factor, as I see that, we need to see a strong international support, out loud and very clear. I'm saying that while we all understand that the Iranian people by themselves, they will take down the regime, but they need to hear and to see and to feel this hope and this support. And we should think about also what we can do to help with that. And I'm not talking about, military organizations or other or intelligence. I'm talking about people to people, because I think this is what will fuel everything. This international support from the people, not just Israelis, American, European. I think that's the key factor. That's more than everything. At the same time, I want to see the Iranian from inside Iran calling to Trump. Trump need to hear his name every time, because we know sometimes what motivate people or what motivate leaders, and in Trump case, they need to hear everybody calling him to assist. And I'm not saying not to call to take down the regime, but let's try to deliver the message that they will shout Trump, 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 and help us. I think we will. I think he will listen. I think he will react. He's not kind of a guy that will hear thousands of people shouting his name in the streets of Tehran or any other city in Tehran. He will react for that, and we need to make everything tick. This is something that we can do. The second thing, that it will be a great sign if we will see that in Iran, if we will finally see military forces like from the Basij or from Artesh, that in a way the minimum is not allowing the protesters to do few things, or in the maximum even joining them. This is something that I think that if we will see that, if we will see this uprising from inside the intelligence and the security forces in Iran, we will see that we are in the right way to achieving what we all hope it will be achieved.
Listen, man,
those
I really hope.
Two key factors that
I really hope that people from Iran listen to your word right now here. And I'm really serious about it. I mean, Younes, what do you feel about it as well? If we will see suddenly thousands of people in Iran going in the street and shouting, Trump, Trump, come and help us, calling for his name, that video will go viral. That video will show the same effect that we saw in Venezuela. Haters will hate, lovers would love. Trump went and basically took down this dictator, and then all of a sudden the Venezuelans are going around celebrating, and some of them know how to dance, shaking their booty and I don't know what. And right next to them, you will see some woke students going and saying, how dare you go and take down the regime, and yada, yada. So I think, if the people in Iran will go and shout, and if you listen to that, guys, really, go and do a video like that. That is a great way to get international attention from the right players. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Is there someone fighting there in the kitchen, or what's going on there? So here is something that, actually I want to show a video to the people here, and then we can just, understand how serious it is. Guys. Watch this.
Yeah, I saw that.
The police in the city of Abdanan have defected and joined the side of Iranian people on January 5th, 2026. This This is crazy, man. This needs to be contagious. Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to see. More and more and more pictures and videos like that will create a wave.
Yeah.
And imagine if they would be right now shouting, death to Khomeini, yada yada, and also calling for Trump, calling for America to come and help them, that Pahlavi will return. Here, what is your thought about that, Younes? You think Pahlavi is gonna return as victorious, as the leader? You think it's gonna happen now? You think he's gonna wait a little bit longer? You think he should?
Look,
What's your
at this
thought?
moment in time, he's the most popular figure. He's the one that everyone is chanting his name, both inside and outside Iran. He's the most popular figure. So I think he's the kind of figure everyone needs to get behind, whether you agree or disagree with him. I think he needs to be the head of the transitional government. And maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, we can have a referendum, and then people can decide whether they want a republic, whether they want a monarchy, whether they want a parliamentary system, whatever they want. But we need to look, at this moment in time, the only opposition we have is Shah Sadegh. We don't really have anyone else. Let's be real. Okay? Not inside Iran, we don't have anyone else, and outside, we don't really have anyone else. So at this moment in time, he's the best option. That being said, I think he needs to meet with Donald Trump. I think that will help a lot. That will kind of solidify him as the official opposition, if they can maybe manage to do a press conference. And, it's all about the theatrics at the end of the day, in politics especially. When you send a signal, okay, we've got a guy, he's coming, we're supporting him. And also, as I said earlier, the Iranian people have shown for 10 days now that they've risen up. Now, slowly we have members of the Artish joining in. Slowly we have members of the police force joining in. But this is not going to go forever. Because Iranians don't have water, they don't have electricity, they don't have gas. So at some point, they're going to run out of energy. So unless we give them these dopamine hits, these dopamine rushes, these motivations to keep going, the protests will die down. And at this moment in time, that's my biggest worry. I do not want the protests to die down. And I think the only way to keep people going is to strike, and also to start beginning the transition in the media front as well.
Sagiv, what's your thought about that? Do you think Iran can be the next Iran can be a democracy, should be a democracy, or what's the direction you would think they should go? I mean, I know it's up to them, but someone like you who've studied them and understand their culture very well, what's your thought?
I think that first of all, the young generation in Iran is absolutely there. The state of mind of the young generation in Iran is a Western, same as a Western civilization country, modern, liberal, absolutely see themselves as a democracy. And we spoke about the past, the 2009 and September 22. Two things were lacking. Again, it's an international support and alternative leadership. This is two factors that were lacking, and in a way, it's not important if the Reza Shah have 80% of support or 20% of support. It's not relevant now. It's relevant that in everything, of course, it's much better than the Iranian regime, and everybody need to rally around an alternative. And I think that he declared, and correct me if I'm wrong, Younes, that he by himself he declared that he's coming that he will come for a very limited transitional time, and then the Iranian people will elect their own leadership. So I think this is a very, very strong statement, right? He declared that.
Yes, I think he did. And also, look, I think the problem with the Pahlavi dynasty back in 1979 was that not only the king used to be the king, he used to also do the operations within the country. So the king was the king, he was the president, he was the prime minister, he was everything, right? So that's why if you took him out, you took the whole system out. And I think in order for Iran to be truly successful, we need a king just to reign. right? But we need the president or a prime minister to do the operational side of things. And I think we need to kind of decentralize the power if the if the thing's going to work. Because if we have a king like in the past and a monarchy, and the king does everything and he has all the power, then that is not a good thing. It's almost like the Ayatollah regime with the supreme leader. You need to decentralize power. I'm a big fan of the republic. I don't mind monarchy at all. But I'm a big fan of the American system, 3 branches of government. But these are the small print that we need to decide after 2 or 3 years, whether it's going to be a monarchy with the 3 branches of government underneath him to do everything, to do all the operations, day-to-day operations. That remains to be seen. At this moment in time, all our focus should be on getting rid of the Islamic Republic. Everything else will kind of fall into place.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Younes, what would you like to see from the Israeli government right now as the most important way to help? Someone like you who understand that culture, Iranian, what would you like to see?
I want this to be as smooth as possible, because I know once the Islamic Republic, even if Khamenei leaves the country or if he gets killed, we still have up to 40,000 IRGC members in the country, and they have guns. And they might go mad and they might start shooting people. They might start doing killing sprees, and they might be infighting just to see who gets in Khamenei's position. We don't want any of that to happen. So I want from the Israeli government and the American government to militarily support us, not with boots on the ground, but aerially, to take out these people, take out their bases, take out their weaponry. So it makes it a more smooth transition. What I'm afraid of is that this revolution could turn very bloody by the minority of people that are pro-Islamic Republic, and they might get into the streets and start killing people. And I don't want that to happen. So I want Israel to support us in this smooth transition, whatever that entails, whether it is military, whether it is economic, whether it is on the media front. Just support us all the way, please.
We know that the Iranian also are bringing, yes.
Yeah, if I may, Mansour, how do you answer the the claim in Israel that if Israel or America, especially if Israel will attack, we will see the Iranian people rally around the Iranian regime?
That's not true. That is not true. That is the lie that the Islamic Republic tries to tell people, all these pro-Palestinian woke mind virus idiots. As long as you don't kill people, as long as you don't kill innocent civilians, people will not turn on you. But luckily, Iran is not like Gaza, where everything, is congested and everything. We don't have rockets in buildings. So the military bases are defined where they are. The IRGC bases are defined where they are. So all you need to do is to hit those bases and try to avoid civilian casualties. The people must think that you're on their side. You're almost like their, angel from the sky, just hitting their enemies. So I think if you manage to do that and keep civilian casualties to an all-time low, majority of people want the Islamic Republic. So I don't think people will rally. That was the claim that Khamenei made during the 12-day war. Said, they see they attacked us. And there was a bit of that. I'm not going to lie. There was a bit of that. There was this sense of, unity amongst some people, not amongst all. But then, as I said, during the 12-day war, people were in shock. The Gaza war was still happening. The world was so much more different. Now, all these cards are taken away from the Islamic Republic. Venezuela with Maduro is gone. Assad is gone. Gaza, Hezbollah, Houthis, they're extremely weakened. And Iranian people can see that. As you said, Iranians, the government came and offered $7 a month to each Iranian, $7 a month, just to bring down the temperature a bit. And just people.
Are you kidding me?
As you say, when there is.
No, and then by the way, said that they don't have it, and maybe it will be 5.
Are you listen? Someone left a comment in the beginning of the show, and I thought it was a joke, so I didn't put it up. The regime supposedly offered $7 to go back to their home is enough for a super chat. Someone made that comment, and I read it and said, "Nah, that must be a joke." But now you're saying, so that's real.
Yeah,
that is real. Yeah. So people, there hasn't been any this much motivation to get rid of the Islamic Republic so far in the last 47 years. But my only concern is that people will gas out. People will eventually run out of energy. So something needs to happen within the next week or 2 max.
That's crazy how I've heard people in Iran already thanking Bibi Netanyahu, thanking Trump, thanking the Mossad for coming to help them. And then I heard the same thing in Syria and some in Lebanon. Somehow the Mossad have managed to get two names for itself: the most badass, most dangerous organization on the face of the planet, and also the most kindest organization that is actually going and helping people in need. I think that's a very good place to be, where the good people are actually counting on you to come and help them, while the bad people are shitting their pants, browning their pants. That's why I say Khomeini is wearing a brown, shirt, because he want to hide his poop whenever he thinks that the Mossad agent is around him. But that's crazy. But by the way, Sagiv, does it feel weird for you now that you can freely talk about your previous job, or like does it feel like still kind of
Oh,
after so
yeah,
many years?
you don't know how much, and that's yeah. I need to get used to the new position and to this these cameras and all of that. But again, I'm still in a mission. The fact that I'm out of duty, I see myself committed to the same goals of as an Israeli, as a civilian. I think there is nothing more important that we can do and we can support for ourselves, for Israel, but also to our brothers and sisters in Iran. And this is what the world need right now. This is a war of civilization, and everything is coming to that. So many things that's been under the radar for so many years are now coming outside. And Younes,
Yeah.
I asked you before this question because I 100% support your position, but I see a paradigm in Israel that slowly taking our and again, I'm not representing anyone except of myself right now,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to change that inside Israel, that we will be in a place of exactly what you just said, because I see also a small window of opportunity to actually make it happen,
Yes,
and I hope
exactly.
that I will make it to make the change.
Yeah, hopefully, if you could, that would be great. But also, I feel like there's more motivation from the Trump administration. I feel like if you look at Trump, his rhetoric and the way he's doing it, he seems more motivated than Netanyahu to strike Iran, which I find a bit strange, to be completely honest. You know, I don't know what the internal temperature in Israel is. I think there's elections this year, and maybe Netanyahu is scared. He doesn't want to enter another war. I think that's nonsense, though. I don't think there is going to be another war. All we need from Israel and America is just airstrikes. We don't need boots on the ground. We just need a couple of F-35s, maybe one more B-2, just to hit another, nuclear site. That's it. Just maybe 10 to 15 aerial strikes, strategic, exactly like you done during the 12-day war. And that's it. You don't need boots on. It's going to be very low cost even. And guess what? If the Islamic Republic of Iran goes, you're not going to have a war every 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's in your own self-interest, honestly. Because then if
Yeah.
the Islamic Republic of Iran stays, you're going to have Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis. They already sent $1 billion to Hezbollah like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah,
try
I
to,
must disagree about that point. I don't see Netanyahu being hesitant. I think Netanyahu will be very happy to strike Iran. I mean, I know a lot of things that he probably would be hesitant in doing, but I think going and striking Iran and finishing
Yeah,
that
but I'm
job,
just
I
going
think
by the
this is
evidence of
literally
1 week ago. Just in the last 1 or 2 weeks, he hasn't made that many comments regarding Iran. If you've noticed, like Trump has been the one that's been doing banging the drum mostly, or maybe that's what they
I
decided to do. I don't know.
I will say something that I mean, think about it. Someone somehow brought Trump to this place to say that. Those are things that we never heard
Of course,
from
yeah.
Trump and from his administration. And I will say more than that, we heard exactly the opposite. We and the forces inside MAGA and the forces that work against that America will not be involved in situation like that, and somehow that was reversed, and suddenly just few days after Mar-a-Lago meeting between Trump and Netanyahu, we hear Trump day after day supporting that, saying things that he never said. And I do believe that we will hear also some strong statements as the time will come also from Netanyahu.
I
For
think it
sure.
would be the dumbest thing for America and Israel and Europe not to want the fall of that regime? I mean, we're talking about one of the most wicked regimes on the face of this planet, an extremely religious, messianic, lunatic regime that want to get a nuclear weapon, that is oppressing its people, that is killing its women and children, and that is chanting death to America, death to Europe, death to the Israel. So everybody with a half brain on his head would want that regime to fall down, and was never a better time now. With that said, I do know that Israel need to be careful, because there's enough ignorant people in America that keep saying, yeah, Israel is dragging us to wars. Guys, Israel is not dragging you to any war. Actually, the 12-day war, Israel did it almost all by itself. It was like the easiest war for America to ever have. That's like the best ally. Israel literally went, and the Mossad and the Special Forces and the Air Force did the entire job by themselves. And then they called America, hey, do you mind Ubering a few B bombers? Just bring it here. They can sleep and watch Netflix on the way, but they wake up, the Mossad agent's going to laser for them. Oh, over here, see, just drop it right there. Perfect. Boom. You can go back, and you can even take all the credit. I think America never had an ally that did all the dirty job for them and even allowed them to take all the credit for it. So I think in that aspect, undoubtedly, it's not even need to be Israel convincing America. It's in the interest of America, America first, Europe first, every sane, freedom-loving human on the face of the planet, to see this wicked regime fall. I mean, I am just so sick and tired of watching videos of Iranian girls from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, walking in bikinis and like dressed like Europeans. And now you see it's just, dumpster garbage bins kind of walking around, all hijab, covered like ninjas, and they don't even dare to talk. I think that should stir up every feminist on the face of this earth. They should be like furious. How are we letting this happen? How are we letting these little girls be robbed of their future? Anyway, sorry, I went on a rant. I really hope that this regime falls down sooner than later.
Crucial days in front of us. Very
Exactly.
crucial days.
But there was this thing, there was this theory that a lot of Iran people inside Iran, and also some people outside, always come in and tell me, well, yeah, they don't really want the Islamic Republic of Iran gone. And I'm like, why do you think that? Like, well, because the Saudis sell oil, the UAE sells a bit, Qataris sell a lot of oil, because they share a gas field. Turkey doesn't want him gone. Russia doesn't want him gone. All this progress that UAE, Qatar, and Saudi made in the last few years, that progress belonged to the Persians, because we was on that track made 50 years ago. And when the Islamic Republic of Iran happened, it was actually a great benefit for the Arab states, right? Our neighboring states. But I don't agree with that, because I think people like Mohammed bin Salman are very clever. The Sheikh of Dubai are very clever people, and they realize that actually Islamic Republic is a security risk for them also. And I believe that a rising tide raises all ships. Instead of thinking of it from a competitive standpoint, we need to think of it that, look, you have one of the richest countries in the world with the potential to be in the top 5 GDPs in terms of gas, oil, natural metals, also educated people, great culture, to coming into the market. And that will open up a lot of opportunities for a lot of different companies, from Apple to Nvidia to Tesla to all these companies, to come and build factories there. And, people will buy. And, it's going to be it's going to take a few years, I would say a decade or two, for us to reach where we actually belong. But it's going to be a great economic opportunity also for the whole world. The only person that's going to be very bad for is Russia.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I think this, just to add to this, I think there's a bigger geopolitical war happening right now. Maduro and the Islamic Republic, they used to be hand in hand. A lot of these Ayatollahs and IRGC members were thinking to escape to Venezuela if the regime falls, because they already bought houses there, they already had Hezbollah, they already had a lot of their agents there. Now Maduro is gone.
Their vacation home is gone.
So they all have to escape to Russia now. And I think by Maduro and Venezuela falling, it compromises the Islamic Republic. And then if the Islamic Republic falls, it compromises Russia. So if Islamic Republic falls, then, Russia is in a very, very compromised position. So they have to make a deal on Ukraine. So I think this is the actual war that's happening. And it's advantage Israel, it's advantage America. And hopefully they can, finish the job.
You know what? You just mentioned Venezuela and Iran, and that's exactly the video I wanted to show. But I want to ask Sagiv first before we go. Sagiv, does the Mossad know who is Asmongold?
Maybe the Mossad knows. But I'm a few months out. So tell me.
Does the Mossad know what's World of Warcraft? Did they ever hear that name before?
All right. All right.
So Asmongold is one of the biggest streamers in the world, and he actually became extremely famous because he was playing World of Warcraft. But he has such a huge base fan right now, people following him, and he's very, very smart about politics. And he made this video, which I find to be very interesting.
Can you see how strategically advantageous Iran is? Iran should be probably like a top 20 GDP country in the world. With how close they are to these other places, they should be a top 20 GDP country in the world. They are incredibly well educated. They used to be incredibly well educated. This is a very big country. It's a nice place. Like, there's no reason it should be a shithole. It's the same as Venezuela. Venezuela used to be the 4th richest country in the world. Now it's a shithole.
They even said it. So what's your thought about that?
Well, I don't have any doubt that Iran is not in the place that it's supposed to be. Not history-wise, not economically-wise, not regime-wise, people-wise, education, anything. This is an oxymoron that it's so hard to explain. But if I'm looking on a history of 3,000 years and more, I think this 50 years or 60 years will be, nothing in few years. A small mistake of this of in the history of this great nation. But we still have work to do that we can summarize this very, very bad part of the Iranian history.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, Iran is so big, have so many natural resources, have such, so many humans live there that are extremely talented. And just like you said, the young generation there is very westernized. A place like this should be one of the most successful countries in the world. It should be, the Middle East should be doing much better than Europe. We have better weather, better resources in so many aspects.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, the main challenge here, and I know I'm going to sound politically incorrect here, but it's Islamic governments. Islamic regimes keep taking back their people to the Stone Age rather than letting them go into the future. Yeah. And everywhere that you let them roam freely, except from a few kind of, rare examples here and there, it's just, that's the main thing that needs to be changed. If Iran now takes away the country, do you think they're gonna still identify themselves as a Muslim country, only a different kind, or you think they're gonna completely abandon that religion? Well, what's your thoughts?
I don't think so, because first of all, there was a recent poll out that said more than 60%, almost 2/3 of Iranians don't identify as Muslim anymore. And that's because of what the Islamic Republic of Iran done by forcing Islam on people. He puts Islam off. He put people off Islam. So, and I was actually thinking about this just now, and I think if you look at it from a philosophical standpoint, I think Iran was due an Islamic Republic. And why do I say that? Because, Iranians are not even Muslim. 1,400 years ago, Islam was something that was imposed on us. And it actually took them 300 years to Islamize Iran. And the way they done it was by killing people, beheading people, forcing people, or, charging them jizya and saying you need to convert to Islam. So it took 300 years for Iranians to become Muslim. It took another 300 years for us to get rid of it, right? And again, I think the Islamic Republic was basically the second coming of what happened 1,400 years ago. And I think it needed to happen for Iranians and Persians to realize this forever. Don't mix politics and religion together. And also Islam in its purest form is not a good thing. I'm not religious myself. I believe in God. I think all religions to some extent have something good to say, something bad to say. But the problem with Islam is that it's a very extremely militant religion. It's here to govern. It's a political religion. It's not just a spiritual religion. So I think if the revolution happens, if we are going to have a state religion, it should be Zoroastrian. Even though I believe that, religion and politics should be separate, the one that we should use as our national identity should be Zoroastrian, not Islam. Why do I say that? Nowruz is a Persian celebration. Shab Yalda, which is like around Christmas time, that is a Persian celebration. So I think our culture should revolve around Zoroastrianism and not Islam. even though I believe in a completely secular, democracy. So I think, and also I think a lot of these mosques should shut down, because the Islamic Republic, what they done is that they started making Imam Zadeh Falan. Imam Zadeh is like a son of the Imam something. And there's like thousands and thousands of these things.
Anyway, most of the mosques right now are empty.
Empty, exactly. I would make them, I don't know,
Really?
clubs or bars or shopping malls or something like that. I would like convert the building into something really fun. So
Imagine that. Escape rooms. Make it escape rooms.
yeah,
Gaming
escape rooms,
centers.
exactly.
When you
I
look
would
on the
keep
young,
it
I'm 100% agree with Younes. When you see the young generation in Iran, they are not getting back 50 or 60 years to the history. They go back to 2000 and more years to the Zarathustra history, and you see that by the names, and even going back to the original Farsi language and statements that
Farsi,
not using things that came to the language from Arabic. So
I agree.
that's
Yes, I would actually take it a step further, and this might be a radical idea. Persians used to have their own letters called Khat Mikhi.
yeah.
I encourage everyone to go and look up Khat Mikhi. It's like Khate space Mikhi, Mikhi, Khat Mikhi. And it looks like Chinese. Our original is even more beautiful than Chinese. I don't know if I can share my screen. I can show it to you, or maybe you
Yes.
can.
Or send me a picture.
Yeah, sure. This is what it looks like. I'll send it to you via. Can I send it in the chat?
You can send it in the WhatsApp also, and I can take it from there. Khatimihi. Most common
look at
meaning,
this,
are you
look at this.
drowning a line?
You look.
Or are you
Look. I sent it to you. Just click on it on WhatsApp.
Okay, I'm gonna download it.
No, it's just a link. It's a link. You just click on the link and then you can share it on the screen if you want.
Okay. Let me
then
see how can I share. That'd be cool. Share screen.
Maybe I can share it. Wait. Okay, I'll show it to you on my phone. Look, it's a bit easier, I think. Look, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see.
Oh wow. Yeah, we see that. It looks Chinese. It looks like ancient Egyptian also, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That is like that is the original Persian letters we used to have. So this is like the cylinder of Cyrus.
Hey, Israel did that,
Bill
man.
of Human Rights, the one that gave the rights to Jewish people to live in peace in Israel. The cylinder of Cyrus is written.
It was
on
in
that.
this language. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this.
Listen, nobody believed that Israel will ever get back to Israel. Nobody believed that the Jews will go back to reading and talking Hebrew. Nobody believed.
Yes, exactly.
No, and it happened. Now you have ChatGPT in Hebrew, guys. So I mean, let's be honest. Old ancient languages and cultures can be revived. It just needs the right people, the right vision, and to consist with it. And that would be so cool.
Yeah, I think we need to separate Arab culture and Islam from Persians. And I think in order for us to have success long term, we need to separate the two together. Even though, look, I agree. Look, there's still going to be 20 to 30% of Iranian community that's going to be Muslim, but that's the same as Israel. You have 2 million Muslims that live within you. But we need to have our own culture. You have to say Persian culture is supreme in Iran. And I would also change the name from Iran to Persia.
Absolutely. The Farsi culture is absolutely the root of everything that we are having in Iran, and there's no doubt that that's the main thing, and that's the main source of everything that we see among the Iranian people, especially the young generation. There's no doubt.
I would say the Farsi culture is a big foundation for our Western civilization today. Even it was such a big culture that affected everyone. They went and reached all the way to ancient Greek. I want to come close to the end of the show, guys, because I know it's getting late. And wow, we've been having 500 and more live viewers steady, going straight through the entire show. That is amazing. If you imagine yourself in university and you come to speak and you get 20, 30 people, you'll be like shocked. So we will have like a very people are definitely fascinated by hearing the two of you, and I am myself. Now, I know there's probably some Iranians that are watching us right now, and maybe we'll watch it even after.
Yeah.
What if Iranian person is watching it right now? What should an Iranian watching this video go and do tomorrow? What would be the message that you will send them?
You know, this is something, I mean, maybe we can come out also from this meeting, from this show, as with a practical mission that we will take over ourselves. And Younes, tell me what you think. What will be the message that every Israeli can send, can say directly to the Iranian people, maybe in English, maybe in Farsi, a small sentence, something that maybe we can try to bring it, that thousands and hundreds of thousands of Israelis will deliver to the Iranian people directly, without no government to government, no politics to politicians to politicians, people to people. Something that again, I'm very much on this hope and support part from the people of Israel to the people of Iran. What will be the message that we can maybe...
Personally, I would say be brave. Just be brave. Be brave. The Islamic Republic will end. The question is not if, is when. So I would say just be brave, be courageous. America is not your enemy, is your friend. Israel is not your enemy, is your friend. So just be brave, keep going, keep protesting. I would say to the police officers and the artists, join forces with the people. Because you don't want to be on the wrong side.
شاید یه اصطلاحات و چیزی که ما میتونیم بگیم به زبان فارسی.
به زبان فارسی
I'm asking if maybe there is a small sentence or something.
I would say
مثلا یعنی دل ما با شما و چیزی مثل این.
پیروزی نزدیک است. I would say that.
پیروزی نزدیک است. What does that mean? پیروزی نزدیک.
Victory is close.
Pirozi نزدیک است. To all the Iranians, Pirozi نزدیک است. Everybody start sending that to the Iranian friends. Really show them that we are with them. 100%. I mean, we are so close right now to seeing lives of millions, being changed. And you save them now, that means their children, the grandchildren, the grandchildren. I mean, wow, what an amazing vision would that be? That we can be able to travel to Iran, that Sagiv can go legally to Iran now and visit the people. I mean, imagine how beautiful that would be for us to really live in peace with these amazing people. I can't wait for that. Ladies and gentlemen.
Same over here. I really praying and hoping for those days, and I 100% believe that it will be very soon. And we will sit in a coffee shop in Tehran and have a toast together.
In the Grand Bazaar. Wow. You know what? I want to finish with another practical call for action for the Westerners who are watching this. What do you think is the number one thing that the Westerners should understand or should do to actually help free the people of Iran?
Go ahead, Sagiv. You go first.
Second, the
Western people, Americans, Europeans, college students who are watching this, what should they do to actually help the people of Iran?
First, to deliver the same message, as we said, as that will come from the Israelis directly from the people of Iran. This is one. Second, to put all the pressure that they can do, that they can have on their own government to go outside in a very strong, loud voice against the regime, and eventually, I mean to support the regime, not just politically, but also, I will say everything that related to influence and public perspective, and go out from that with that. I think there is a lot of meaning for that, not just doing that on the parliaments and statements, but streetwise.
Can't agree more with that.
I would say to the college students, you protested for Palestine for 2 years, and yet there is no protests for any Iranians that are struggling. I just think that you're so brainwashed and you just don't know what you're talking about. You think that somehow Israel is the enemy, but you don't realize if Israel falls, the West will fall. and it's going to be a matter of time before we have an Islamic state in Europe. We kind of do in London now almost, before you're going to have it all around the world, and you're just so unfortunately. The problem with universities is, and I think maybe a bit of it is Qatari funded, and actually Qatar and IRGC, they share a gas field. So a lot of the infiltration and the brainwashing that comes in to universities and young people is actually coming directly from the Islamic Republic, unofficially through Qatar. So I just think this is an information war. And I always say this, the first half of this battle was the ground battle where Israel won decisively, but they lost the propaganda war. And, unfortunately, there's still like the majority of the international community is anti-Israel because they think they're like Zionists, like Nazis. They want to kill people. They want to kill babies, which is complete nonsense. So I think the second half of this battle for Israel and for Iranians is to win the propaganda war, win the information war, so we can actually go and finish the job. But luckily, we have a great president in America that understands the issue clearly. We also have a great prime minister in Israel, which also understands the issue clearly. And I think that the second phase of this is going to be, honestly, the information and the propaganda war. And we need to, tell the world that you are siding with jihadis, you're siding with Islamists, and you are siding with this woke mind virus that you think somehow they're oppressed. You just don't know what you're talking about, honestly. And we need louder voices to come and say this clearly. And it takes people that have been to Israel, have been to Iran, understand it, were born there. Because a lot of these college kids, they were born in UK and they had all the comforts of life in America and in the UK. And now they come and, protest pro-Palestine. But because they don't understand it, they think in their head they are standing up for the underdog. They don't realize the reason why Islamic Republic is in the state it's in now is because of them. They don't realize the reason why Gaza is in the state that is in now is because of Hamas and Hezbollah. So you need to remove that tumor. So I think that's the thing. In one word, I would say information, or win the information.
So I call this front the 8th front.
Yeah.
Understanding this is not a propaganda. This is not and we call it in Hebrew hasbara, explanations. And it's very much true. It's not a fight against Zionism, not against Israel, not against anti-Semitism even. This is a fight for Western civilization and the survival of Western civilization. And also we should talk about that 8th front, because it may be another opportunity, but it's all related. It's true. Qatar from one side, Iran from other side, all this radical Islam coming together with this 8th front PR, public perspective battle. And so in a way, this is much more dangerous even from any other threat that we understand and we know. And this is already, London has fallen, Paris has fallen, New York has fallen. We see that inside America, but let's get to that after having Iran free soon.
Amen to that. And that coming from someone who was high up in a very long time in the Mossad, who understands what war is, understands what means enemies in the shadows who are trying to come and take over us, and to come and understand that this is a direct declaration of war on our way of life. I 100% agree. It's the 8th front, and it's the only front that they're actually winning dramatically compared to the other fronts. And all the other fronts we became very good in counterterrorism. We're very good with, cyber, espionage, economy. Everything in the West is doing very good. But that 8th front, they're schooling us there, and very, very evil factors around. But I want to finish here with something, guys, to show you who are we fighting for? Who are the people of Iran fighting for? And for all the college students, if anyone ever get to watch this, which I doubt, but if they get to watch this, then look at these Iranian girls, and look particularly at one girl that dared to do the unimaginable. If you think you've seen bravery, that is bravery you're about to see now. But look how hesitant she are, because she knows the price that she might pay. That is bravery, not going wearing kafia and supporting jihadists. That is not bravery. Watch this, guys. In a lifetime chance to save the lives of millions. Look at her face. Mind-blowing, and they're counting on us. She's covering her face. She's afraid, That moment really caught me. When you see her, I'll show you guys the lives of millions. This Look is mind-blowing. And after she did that, it's an instinct already. The girls there are so scared. They're so terrified. This is bravery. You know what kind of a price women like this, little girls like that, pay in Iran for doing the most beautiful natural thing, which is showing their God-given beauty, showing their hair. God forbid they dare to do that. And just see how she does it, and immediately she's, there is a real oppression. If you're looking for an apartheid to fight for, that's where you should go. If you're looking for oppression to stand against, that's where you should go. What is happening in Iran right now is the best cause, I feel, of the century almost, for people who are looking to be activists. So don't be fooled. Don't be lied about pro-Palestine and supporting all kind of jihadist communist regimes. No, guys, go and fight for these people because they need us. And I really, really hope that we'll see even a glimpse of the level of demonstrations we saw for pro-Palestinians and others standing for the people of Iran, although I doubt we will, but I really hope. Oof.
It's up
But
to
anyway,
us to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Well,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Fascinating conversations. To all of those who watched right now, also, don't forget to go and follow these two amazing gentlemen, especially here, Sagiv, who is new now with his Instagram account. And
Can't be more new than that.
Yeah, he's
I
new
tagged
and
you
he's
in a
getting
story,
used
by
to
the way. I tagged you in a story, so I think you should get some followers. Hopefully.
it. Exactly. Let's help his account
can-
grow
we-
his voice.
Yeah, we can finish with Younes suggested to say to our brothers and sisters in Iran, right? برادر و خواهر ما در ایران پیروزی نزدیک است.
دقیقاً. برادرها و خواهرای ما در ایران پیروزی نزدیک است و ما برنده خواهیم شد و جمهوری اسلامی ایران ساقط خواهد شد با امید روزهای بهتر و روشنایی بر تاریکی همیشه پیروز است.
Here you go.
نزودی.
A former Mossad agent and Iranian meets in the bar. They start speaking Farsi, and the Druze guy here is just staying, with pita and zatar and just kind of.
Yeah.
I love it, guys. I'm gonna join what they said. I don't. Tell us what you said. Let me understand what you said.
بفرمایید.
I said that light will always conquer darkness, and the Islamic Republic will soon collapse, and victory is close.
Amen.
Yeah.
And Sagiv, what did you say?
Same, that to our brothers and sisters in Iran, from the people of Israel, the victory is close.
Amen to that, guys. To all the people in Iran, we are with you. And the
Baruch Hashem.
victory.
Amen. Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem,
Amen.
amen.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, we're gonna finish the episode, guys. Thank you for sticking around.
Farsi we say umidvaram.
Umidwara, exactly. Don't forget to do the like, share, subscribe. Go and check Sagiv and Younes and everybody here. We appreciate the time that you've given us. And like I always finish my episode, don't do anything stupid. And in general, just don't do anything that I would do, which is a very good tip for life. I'll explain it next time.
Thank you.